What's going on, everybody? We're playing some Starfighter Assault tonight in Battlefront 2, and well, that's about it. We're gonna just do this and have a good time and hang out and come chat with me and all that stuff. Doing some live streaming, if a game could be found. For as new of a game as this, it's surprising to me how long it takes to get into a game sometimes. There we go. Ryloth. We're going to be playing Clone Wars era. Alright. And I'm going to be using the Y-Wing because that's my favorite. Not much is going on tonight, Mr. Pete. How are you doing? Oh boy. Oh boy, got ionized. Started later into this one. Sticky Buns, that's a funny name. And a big hi to everybody that recently joined in. We're just playing some Battlefront 2 tonight. Alright, we got Darth Maul. That's good. I don't even know why they give Y-Wings a torpedo. I almost never use a torpedo. I use it against hero ships, that's about it. I mean, I launch it, but I usually kill them before. If I have enough time to target lock on you, I have enough time to kill you. A prequel core set would be awesome. I'd have to have the... I mean, honestly, it'd be a lot of the stuff we have already. Architans, Peltas. But those guys right there. Those CIS cruiser right there. Oh, did I crash into that thing? I just wish they would make an entire game of just this type of stuff. Like a total space game without a ground component. We're getting some lag tonight, it seems. Vader. Oh, almost got you, Vader. Alright, we got him. A sequel course that won't happen, I don't think, until episode 9. I think Armada would be great for that game based on what we have, or for that movie set, so based on what we have now, though. Absolutely. You're trying to go after that Falcon, aren't you? I won't let him happen to you. That's right, Poe. I'm one hell of a wingman. Oh, come on. No, 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 no. I won't let you do it. Yes. Uh-huh. Now you're gonna have to circle back if you want me. And I've got the ion cannon now, so what you gonna do? Oh, gosh. No, 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 no. Ah, R2. Whew. Blast doors open. I don't want to go for the blast doors. I just want to blow up the ships. Okay, fine. Oh, I get to be Tally. I like to be Tally. What do I think of The Last Jedi? I think it's a great movie. I want to see it again. I've only seen it twice. I've meant to see it more than 2 times. I just haven't been able to. What is going on with this lag? Wow, how are you so fast? What is going on here? Alright, I'm too close to him. Let's turn around. Ooh, man, I'm rusty. I haven't played this in a while. Oh. The movie ruined everything? I guess we saw different movies. Oh, that sounds really cool, having all that fire bounce off of him like that. Woo! I don't know. That's still. I don't understand why you think it was horrible. Just because, I mean, if you didn't like it, that's fine. But you know, it seems like it's just a gross exaggeration. I thought all those things were great.
I guess.
I don't understand why him milking a creature gets you upset. Like, he was a farmer. I mean, he's always been a farmer. That's his entire character. Luke has always been a farmer. That's what farmers do. Yeah, I'll say this about The Last Jedi. It was difficult for me to process because I wasn't prepared for Luke to die in this one. And, you know, and losing him made me unsure of how I felt after the movie. But then seeing it the second time, it was much easier to appreciate all the brilliance of this movie, and it was a fantastic movie. It was really brilliant. I honestly think that the Leia float through space thing, it was a misdirect because I thought, oh, this is how this is how it ends. But yeah, I think that was there specifically to, you know, to show you that she has also knowledge of the Force. Every director puts their own stamp on the saga. I mean, that's what it's always been. I really think that people that don't like it, and I've talked to a lot of people about it, and everybody has different, you know, reasons that they say. I have my own opinion, which you know, a lot of people will argue with, but my opinion is that people who don't like the movie didn't like that Luke died, and because of that, they then look for reasons to justify why they don't like the movie, other than Luke dying. And so then they look for all these little, oh, well, this this technically didn't make sense, and that was a plot hole, and that was this was dumb, and this I didn't like this part, and I didn't like that part. But every Star Wars movies had stuff like that, where like little things that don't make a whole lot of sense. All of them had. Even Empire Strikes Back had a ton of things that don't make sense. So I think if you get past the minutia of, oh, I didn't like this scene, I didn't like that Luke threw the lightsaber, I didn't like that part actually, but that doesn't ruin the movie for me. If you get past all those little like, oh, I didn't like this scene, or I didn't like this line of dialogue, and just focus on the message that the movie is trying to tell you, you can really enjoy the movie. What does that upset you? See, that's the thing. I think that what he's saying in that movie, what he's saying is, you let the past die. You've got to move on. The franchise has to move on. Mark Hamill is an old man. He's not going to be around forever. What's going to happen in 20, 30 more years when nobody from the original Star Wars movie is with us anymore? But you still want to produce Star Wars content. They've got to have new people. It's got the universe has to grow, and that's what this is allowing it to happen. I did think Luke was going to die in 9. I didn't want him to die in this one, but I understand why it happened, and he died an incredible death. It was a heroic death, and some people disagree on that, because I think there's two different ways to look at what happened in that final scene with him and Kylo Ren. The first time I saw it, I didn't get it. Like, I thought he was just committing suicide. And then after repeat viewings and, learning more about it, it made sense to me that he was making, he was basically he was letting the resistance or the rebellion escape, but not only that, he was, trying to do right by Kylo Ren, at least to go apologize to him. It was about closure. It was just really good. Luke's exile made great sense to me. I get that whole, like, he had one moment of weakness, but it was such a tremendous failure that he had in that one moment. And he wasn't able to forgive himself, because he didn't just get weak on anybody. He basically killed his sister's kid in that point. He loves Leia. Leia is the most important person in the universe to him. Leia will probably be dead in the opening credits in Episode 9. Episode 9, Return of the Slippers. Princess Leia is dead after building the new rebellion, blah, blah, blah. And it opens up into a funeral for a princess. And it'll probably open up to BB-8, since he seems to be like the first person we see in these movies. And there'll be a new ship called the Organa or the Leia or something like that. And it'll be an awesome ship. Episode 9 is going to be so good. It's going to be insane. At some point, you can ask questions for Armada right here. This is not a live stream for us just to talk about Star Wars Battlefront. You can ask me anything you want. I don't necessarily see every single question, because I am actually paying attention to the computer screen also. Can I imagine a 10, 11, 12 with no Skywalker? Yeah. I mean, dude, have you ever seen Knights of the Old played any of the KOTOR games or played Star Wars: The Old Republic? All of those didn't have Skywalkers in them, and those are still Star Wars. You don't need Skywalkers to have Star Wars. He's just, one story in an entire universe. But I understand that. Like, there's a part of me that still wanted Skywalkers too. There's a part of me that wanted Luke and Mara Jade to be married and have a kid, and and see if they were going to take that in a different direction. They're stories. They're games. They're not movies, but they're stories, and they're good stories. I mean, honestly, go play Knights of the Old Republic. Phenomenal story. The casino plot and the car chase, they weren't super germane to the main plot. I get that. But honestly, it led somewhere, and where it led was important. And it was fun to watch, too. Honestly, you could say the same thing about the asteroid scene in Empire Strikes Back. There's so many complaints that but you don't want to because you enjoyed the movie. Empire Strikes Back was an awesome movie. But you could complain just as much about that movie and all their little things if you wanted to. Problem is, people don't really want to nitpick on those movies as much because they enjoyed the movie. And and cool stuff happened. Also, it's nostalgia. It's got the benefit of time. I mean, because you imagine, like, we could complain about Boba Fett. Like, why are they selling all these action figures for this guy? They don't even say his name in the movie. We don't know anything about him. Double ISD fleets for Armada in the future? Absolutely. Especially with price. I think price is going to make double ISD fleets more common. They're still done today. They're totally doable now. I think a double ISD fleet won Worlds. Off the top of my head, I think that was the case. But I think it was augmented heavily by Gozantes. Triple ISD might even be possible. I've run a triple ISD list, and it's terrible. I don't think there's any good triple ISD lists, but or I don't think there's many good triple ISD lists. How are we doing? I am not doing that good. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I really would love for them to bump the points in Armada up. 500 would be fantastic. I really think we're getting an Executor too. I don't know when, but I really... I am freezing. I'm going to crash into something because I'm putting on a Snuggie right now. Because I'm cold. There we go. Turn around. Alright, I'm back now. I can't believe I crashed into that thing. Yep. I mean, imagine Kenobi has as offspring. Like, I would love to see, Ben Kenobi's great nephew Come on, come on. Oh. Alright, heal up, heal up. Who do they think is going to repair that? Oh, no, no. Oh, shoot, I just hit that thing. Come on, come on. Oh, heal up, heal up. Oh, this is the unkillable ship right now. We're actually going into an asteroid field? They'd be crazy to follow us, wouldn't they? Well, then maybe you should set up the rebel base inside an asteroid field. This way they'd never come after you. Oh, there we go. They got us. So I think the remnants of the New Republic Navy and Army will join the rebellion. I think they already have, and I think that's kind of what we saw. What I think is going to happen in Episode 9 is, I think the New Republic, or there won't be a New Republic, but there'll be a new rebellion. And the new rebellion will basically, you know, be pretty strong. They'll have a couple years to build up, and Leia will have built that up, and that'll be her accomplishment. But the First Order has a ton of ships, and so they'll probably win a couple, like a battle or two, and then all of a sudden the entirety of the First Order shows up. And where do you get 3 ships? There was 4 ships actually at the beginning of The Last Jedi. Just one gets blown up in that first scene before they jump to hyperspace. But at some point, I think the entire galaxy will rise up and fight against the First Order at the climax of Episode 9. Just when the First Order seems like it's finally pulled all of its ships in, and the eclipse has to show up too, and they pull everything together and they say, all right, we're going to end this new rebellion here and now. We're going to pull all of our eggs into one basket. And that's when the entire galaxy wakes up and says, no, we're not going to take this anymore. We are going to fight against you. And then you see like a hodgepodge bunch of all of the remaining ships, and now all of a sudden now the tables are turned. Why there weren't more ships? I mean, honestly, I'm pretty sure, like, when the Hosnian Prime system got wiped out, that took out almost all of their capital ships. I think that was pretty much all they had to go, all they had that was left. Akbar deserved a better death. Yeah, well, the First Order's. I mean, that's the facts in war. Sometimes something happens that just wipes out people that deserve a better death. I would have liked to have seen Akbar go out in some kind of blaze of glory, but it's not always the case. How do you compensate for the really weak side and back arcs of the Liberty? You do nav commands. You run Maydeen so that you can always turn and keep your front arc pointed that way. And the other thing you do is don't be afraid to run engineering commands, and don't rely for engineering to just regenerate shields. Don't be afraid. A lot of people, what they don't do is they don't redistribute shields, because you don't have to just get new shields. Like if your back is if the enemy's nowhere near your back, just take those shields from the rear and put them on back on the weakened side. The same thing goes for the other side too. That's another one too. Initiative is huge with stuff like that. The Radis is going to be awesome. Will Kylo repair the supremacy? I have no idea. I think it's possible to see a half supremacy flying around, but he might also associate the supremacy with Snoke, so he may like just let it burn. It may be damaged, you know, to a really bad degree. Oh, I just killed Poe. Did you see that? I just killed Poe. That's great. Oh, come on, get some A-Wing. A-Wing all that. Whew! Where are some enemies for me here? They do have both pieces of the supremacy. Now, the hyperspace RAM was cool. So, funny thing is, they actually addressed the hyperspace RAM today. A little bit on the Star Wars show. Pablo Hidalgo talked about it. And he did say that one of the only reasons that was effective was because the ship was so large. Like, you couldn't take a Starfighter and do that, because it would just impact on the shields. So you need something really, really large to do it, which effectively makes it not cost-effective. I'm assuming. as cool as that scene was, though, it would have been made more like canonical sense if she just rammed and she just did it at like at regular maximum speed rather than doing hyperspace. Because I will say this, I'm not going to tell you that the movie was perfect or that there's nothing to nitpick. I actually enjoy nitpicking stuff from the movie, but I don't like when people say that they killed Star Wars, that they ruined Star Wars, or when people I think those are exaggerations. Just because you didn't maybe get something that you wanted, or you know, I don't know. I just don't think so. I mean, like, heck, if George Lucas didn't kill Star Wars with Jar Jar Binks, then they certainly didn't kill it with this movie. This movie was really, really well done from a certain point of view. And, oh, and I just crashed because I'm talking. But what I think actually happened is that the Raddus was close enough that it didn't actually fully enter into hyperspace. That it didn't fully enter in. So, like, you know, when you're going into hyperspace and you see like the you know, the stars kind of turn you know, into lines. There's a period where you're speeding up, accelerating to hyperspace before you enter. Kind of like when Marty McFly takes the DeLorean up to 88 miles per hour. Well, assume that before you get to that point where you actually enter hyperspace, you're just on the verge of entering hyperspace. And so I think that's when the impact happened. That's my own personal theory. I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to defend anything. I'm just talking about, you know, it's fun to talk about the tech. What I want to know is, why is there 3 of these ships in this? Because there's only 1 of these in the movie. The Free Regalia class bomber cruiser thing. I do like The Force Awakens a lot. I don't know if I like it more. I heard a rumor today that this movie that we know and love, or episode 8, is coming to like DVD and Blu-ray in March, which will be really cool. I can't wait to get it and just watch it over and over and over again, and kind of analyze the, you know, you can get a different level of appreciation for something when you can watch it multiple times. Oh, I'm Darth Vader. I wish the TIE Advance was just an actual playable ship in this game rather than having to be Darth Vader. Oh, I get it, Carter. I like to nitpick a little bit. Like, if they wanted this to be like the level, there should have only been 1. See, Mr. Pete, that's not constructive. That's you being upset. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to take a long time, like if you weren't happy with the movie, I feel bad, because I think it's a shame that we're so divided on it. Maybe it'll end up being a good thing, because maybe it will end up fostering a lot more discussion about it, as long as people can be good to each other when they talk about it. I don't like the inflammatory talk or trying to tell people like that they're crazy for having an opinion or something like that. I prefer it if we can actually like discuss our opinions rather than just throw insults around. And I'm not saying that you guys are doing that, but I've seen a lot of people do that, especially on Facebook. Like the Star Wars Facebook channel, they just post a picture of somebody who made a Star Wars sculpture out of food, and nobody talks about that. Instead, you've got a whole bunch of troll people and that are just be like, hey, Star Wars, your movie sucks. Nobody should go see it. Waste, you know, and like it has nothing to do with the picture, and people just want to troll over this, and it's really frustrating. And I don't even think these are all real people, because I go and look at their profile pictures, and all they're doing is sharing political posts designed to do the exact same thing. It's just troll and rile people up, which, so, you know, and that's not helpful. That's not helpful at all, because we need to, you know, come together and talk about things. You're doing a TIE Advanced list. Are you going to have, Shadowcat, are you going to run all 3 TIE Advanced, or are you going to have just 1 TIE Advanced and 2 other ships? Because if you're going to do all 3 TIE Advanced, Vader's definitely a good choice for his pilot skill, but Juno Eclipse is awesome. You have to give her Veteran Instincts, though, and give her engine upgrade. And then from there, you can see what the points, you know, allow you to take. I don't think you can fit Merrick Steel also into a... I don't know if you can do Merrick Steel also. But Merrick Steel might be alright in a TIE Advance, because you can guarantee the crit with Merrick Steel. And maybe... You know what I haven't tried a TIE Advance using Swarm Leader? Did I play Galactic Assault on Hoth yet? Yes, it's a big sniper map. Not my favorite map for Galactic Assault. You kind of have to play sniper or you're dead. And the thing that Crate fixes, it gives you so many of those. It's also a sniper map, but it gives so many people those skimmers that it's really fun, and it changes the you know, the view when you get into them. It's just like it's a really fun map to jump out into one of those skimmers. So, what was my reaction to Yoda? That was my favorite scene in the whole movie. First off, I was blown away by how good he looked, that they actually brought the puppet back. The voice, too, is Frank Oz. Loved it. On a side note, let me ask you guys a question for those of you who are watching. I mean, since we're kind of just chatting about Star Wars or whatever, the game doesn't really matter. I was thinking of streaming some certain other games that would allow me to talk a little more. Like, I recently picked up PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, and that's actually a pretty cool game. And also, you know, my favorite PC game is Overwatch. But also, I think in a couple of weeks there's a Dragon Ball Fighter coming out that I pre-ordered. Dragon Ball Fighter is going to be like amazing. But anyway, you guys, you know, how would you guys feel about me streaming different video games as well? Sounds good, sounds good. Just thought I'd get a little bit of feedback on it. It is my stream, but I'm also putting it, like, there's certain people who have, like, complained when I've done something that was, like, off-brand or whatever, and I'm just curious. I don't want to go, like, you know, too far off. Like, if I do stuff like that, it'd only be once in a while, because this is primarily a Star Wars channel, you know. And as much as I like other stuff, and like I do other board games from time to time too. To play tactical games too. Are we talking about board games or video games? Because I don't play that many video games. I used to play like all the video games when I was younger, but I don't have as much time anymore between reading and family. Most of it's family, and then, you know, of course, keeping up to date with everything that's going on with Star Wars lately. And this is a good time to be a Star Wars fan. There's a lot of new Star Wars. But then, and also, of course, all the tabletop games. Where are they? The ship is not in jeopardy. You took one hit to shield. Rey is such an exaggerator. Alright. See, the funny thing is, different ships in this game have different level of controls, too, so it's hard to learn. I guess so you accustom. Oh, we won. Empire at War. Oh, that's the RTS, right? So the problem with some of the older RTSs is when I go to stream them, my game capture software has freaked out in the past because not all of the older games are compatible with all of the newest capture software. But yeah, so some of the older resolutions and stuff, which one was it? The older Battlefront 2 I could get working, but it was tricky and it took me a couple of tries to get that one working. So some work better than others. Ooh, TIE Bomber. All right, I get to be bombers. How many times did you see the movie, Mr. Pete? Yeah, the old Star Wars Battlefront 2 was not too shabby. Yeah, that's the problem. I prefer, because I have almost every Star Wars game ever made on Steam, with the only exception of being all of the X-Wing games. I have X-Wing. I have one or two of the X-Wing games, but you have to use a joystick for those. And I have an old control pad, a Logitech game controller, but it doesn't. It's not the best for. I want to use a mouse with a flight sim. I can't wait for whatchamacallit. Alright, there's nobody joining this game. A full old Battlefront 2 lobby. That one can be streamed. That one could possibly work. I'll have to look into that. That's a possibility. Be kind of cool if you could run custom servers on this too. Oh, now I get my daily login crate. So for somebody who really didn't like the movie, you saw it an awful lot of times. That doesn't make sense to me. I feel like something's missing. Alright, what did I get here? Oh, Yoda's. Slow down, you will. Is that it? Is that all I got? That's all I got. Let's open some crates. going with hero crates because they're the cheapest. All duplicates. Oh, I got a new one. What is that? Is that a taunt? Oh, nice. Let's go. I'm going to assign this stuff, and I think this is going to do it for me. I think I'm going to kind of log out here in a minute. Alright, let's see. We got our new emote. Got that as While You Fail, and I'll put that on there. Oh, yes. What new cards do we have? I need to level up some of these guys a little more. I leveled up Luke a little bit. Thank you, thank you. I want to tell you guys before I close out, I got some really good news lately that I can't talk about yet, but hopefully by the end of the month, something really cool is going to happen. Like, that's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you. I wish I could tell you something more than that, but it'll be really, really cool. I can't tell you. That's why I said I can't tell you. Otherwise, I would have just told you. But, yes. So make sure you stay tuned. Alright, guys. Well, I am going to go ahead and close out. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and hanging out with me tonight. It has been a blast. I'll tell you when it happens. I'll tell you this, SXD and Nils, they do not employ playtest. They don't pay playtesters. So, all right. I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.